A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out my fair too.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
Welcome, everybody to the show. My name is Joseph Mkwena. I am your host. This is the Overthinking Football Show, a show that airs every Monday to Thursday at 8 p.m. and also Fridays at 12 in the afternoon, where my breadwinners are the ones that decide the show and what is meant to happen on the day. We are live on Instagram, YouTube, and on TikTok. So welcome to those guys. Welcome to those guys as well. It's great to see you guys with me. And if you want to support the channel, follow the TikTok account, follow the Instagram account, follow the YouTube account. And if you'd like to, click on the join button. And for just 20 Rand a month, you can help contribute and you can be a breadwinner yourself. Now, for anybody who's watched the show before, you do know that we do allow people to come in and talk. And you can join my panels by following me on TikTok, joining me when I'm live on TikTok, and then I will let you in and you can join the show live and bring in your voice. Okay, so today we're going to be speaking about the Afcon rights issue, something that has been going back and forth for a little bit. Some guys have had the rights, other guys have not had the rights. So what I want to do today is that let's discuss a little bit of this, but also I want us to look forward into the future. What can we look forward to coming to these rights issues? Should the PSL be worried? Well, what does the future of broadcast and these things look like for the African continent? Now, just to give you a little bit of context, on the 3rd of January, 2024, Multichoice released a statement where they said, guys, Tina, we're not going to be broadcasting Afcon. We're not going to show it. Don't expect to put on 202, 218 and see any Afcon stuff because we do not have the rights and we're not going to show it. Obviously, everybody went crazy and a bunch of other countries. Also, because SuperSport is in different countries, with DSTV Multichoice in different countries in Africa, a lot of them were complaining. But then 2 days later, SABC came out and said, guys, we got this. We have all the rights. And not only do we have all the rights, we intend on showing all 54 matches in full and having them on our platform, including, not just Afcon, including every single bit of African football that is going to happen this year. I'm talking Afcon 2023. I'm talking Afcon 2025 qualifiers. I'm talking CAF Champions League, Women's CAF Champions League, Women's African Cup of Nations, WAFCON. I'm talking Super Cup, Champions League, and also Confed. SABC had the rights to all of this, the whole bouquet, and we're looking at a year where our national broadcaster was going to have all these rights and show us all these matches. How? I'm not too sure, but it seemed that they had a plan on how to get it done. This afternoon, it's announced that, hey, well, not announced, rumor has it, and it's been reported by a lot of the journalists, that Multichoice has doubled back and gotten the rights for Afcon 3 days before Afcon is meant to launch. 3 days. So now both SABC and SuperSport will have the rights to show the matches, and then it brings up a couple of questions. One, SABC, we know that there is a little bit of a weakness on their side where we say that they've got SABC 1, 2, 3, and they already have things that are on the airwaves. Lo and behold, Makoko misses out on Skim Sam because Tunisia is playing Mali. But it presented a good opportunity for SABC to maybe assert themselves in this football arena. Already they have the national team rights. Mara, Ngaloma national team rights, we don't necessarily see all of the Bafana matches. And the SABC Plus app has been doing a a lot of heavy lifting on that side. And maybe it was a chance for them to head into streaming properly with SABC Plus being free. Maybe they were able to open it up and increase the channels on the app and have us watch that way, which could, in essence, change the dynamic of the competition between SABC and SuperSport. Then you have SuperSport, of course, where most of us watch our football, right? But questions started being raised as to how much commitment does SuperSport have towards African football if you're not showing things like Afcon, if we only get to see CAF Champions League towards the end. What type of benefit are we reaping from that? But obviously, the biggest pro of having SuperSport on board is that they have multiple channels where they can show multiple matches at the same time, which has been the advantage that SuperSport has had over SABC, because frankly, SABC just can't do that. And that's what we've come to love about SuperSport. So I think this was a very interesting place. What I'm more keen about when you look at the bigger picture for me is, if Afcon wasn't a top priority, what's going to happen when the PSL rights come up? What's going to happen when they have to negotiate that deal? Is SABC going to be a good partner? Is SABC going to be a good option, for them to jump on board there? Or will SuperSport, maybe take for granted that EPSL ilapha kubo, even though EPSL has a lot of, maybe not that much viewership on DStv, or the type of audience that you could probably get on SABC. So it is a battle of those two behemoths, but I do want to get your thoughts about this conversation. Tate Motsepe has come out, Dr. Motsepe has come out as the president of CAF and said that ECAF should have a very strong leaning towards free-to-air. CAF's goal is to give the game to as many countries and as many people as possible through national broadcasters, right? But, imali guys, money is a very big thing. He said this in light of when they were having problems with beIN, the French television provider, the French television provider who owned the rights before, on a less than favorable deal for CAF. And they're taking them to court, and that's when Motsepe had made some of these announcements to say that they're looking towards more free-to-air, which is why we got Abu AFL free-to-air. I believe it was on SABC and SuperSport at some point, but we got more of those games there because that was the plan. But now it seems that the rights issues are becoming a little bit of a factor here, because beIN has been brought back in as one of the main sponsors, and I believe they control the rights for global. And then there's a company called New World Media that is in charge of the sub-Saharan rights and the rights in Africa, which are the ones that are facilitating these deals. Tsabo SuperSport, Tsabo SABC, and maybe why Abo SuperSport are not in there right now. But guys, enough said about the background. I want to hear your voices. Please remember, you have to be following me on TikTok. Join me on TikTok. There's a button there at the bottom of your screen that says multi-guest. If it has not appeared, it should appear now. And I can let you in, and we can have a conversation about this rights issue. And I see that I can let in 6 people now per panel. Okay, TikTok. Let's see. So guys, jump in. Wait. What's going on? Yeah, there we go. Jump in and let's have a conversation here live. By clicking that button, request, I'll let you in, and we can have that conversation. Okay, let's see who's here. Who else is here? Hey guys, TikTok has added more people, so it's good. We can have bigger panels. Okay, Julius, play mo. Ay, kirai, guys, please mute when you come in. Ay, no, nakimunati man, kimunati ka mo.
Khale ka tsaya na moshong ya gago.
a ke ra o satla
Ao wa bona, ha se ra ke sata. Ke a lebelela. Nna pe ke thomile show e thomile ka nna ska leba. So ke Maranchi ne. It's just that sometimes I get it now. So Maranchi, I watch the show. I do watch.
okay
And
I
sometimes
agree.
I
I agree
even
you
go
guys
to
are
Facebook.
supporting Super Sport, yeah?
Now sometimes in Don Tusha, even if I miss the show, I just go to Facebook. Ka lebelela gore majita batho la ba discussing, wa bona?
Mara
so
on
for
that,
me-
do you know that I've been banned from Facebook completely? I'm not allowed to be on Facebook anymore.
Hey man, bothata o dile o se
Yeah,
tjena.
yeah, I can see, but YouTube. Anyway, Julius, on to the show. What do you think of this rights situation? Yeah, Afcon, yeah, Super Sport, SABC.
Aish, Wazare, this thing is very painful. But the national broadcaster, now we should just be happy. The SABC has done the right thing. I'm not sure if they've done the right thing. But for me, I feel like, the rights, ne? For me, issue most countries developed countries developed that this kind of problems. I don't know. No one of the rights Afcon. Why should develop someone who's in Europe, someone who has no interest in African football? Up they are just using African football as a stepping stone. They don't have so much interest in this. But you find I remember one company Orange or something. A French company all of a sudden in the rights tournament, an African country has to go and buy the rights, go Europe, you know. So as much as Super Sports, sure now checking this time around, because usually they make sure. They make sure, and calm down. Usually, Super Sport, they will tell you, hey, look out for this. Hey, there's a show, but already show, what showing, good morning, what. Okay, Araka Kamaina Nagakua. Cote d'Ivoire, Cote d'Ivoire, if Babela's French Cote d'Ivoire,
The suit.
Hey, I want so like I know Oscar was such, you know. The SABC all along, they look quiet. Up to SABC only is smiling. But yeah, probably we are the home of sports, but searches us. Now they can see. But enjoy the right. Kenya gonna one chantung where it's simple. Maybe you can wear such one, but it's ama. If you check Batubago England. But Togo UK, ne? Those guys must struggle like one of the games, ne? They do struggle. Their own games. Yeah. Now more on switch on level Southampton in Bora Championship C level Fulham in Bora level Brighton. That side they don't have such choices. They just give you a game you don't even it's not even that interesting. But move on. But now sometimes when I don't do the illegal streaming, the rights issue, and another the rights to the long more Africa. That's the problem. And I think Kev sometimes barata in the middle. Careful all the time, but now they have to be in the middle. And then now when Petrus took over, I thought such issues will be done. Coronel in African football, when Petrus took over, I told myself, this guy will fix this. But those issues are still persisting. They are still there. You know, so but let's wait and see. We'll just watch more SABC. The home of sport, right?
Hey, Ritavona, because rumor has it Super Sport is back in. But let me bring in Malume Kuto. Before I bring Malume Kuto, guys, please tap the screen. Let's try get to 25,000 likes. It's free. Just do this. That's all you need to do. Just do this. And then you help me rank for lives and you help bring more people to this. Malume Kuto, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Mr. Otsi, Kimnati, how are you?
Hi, Kisha, man, Kimnatin. Tell me, what do you think about this whole rights thing? Yeah, Afcon between SuperSport and SABC.
Well, Mr. Otsi, I won't be too much on the business side of it. I understand because once it's business, it's difficult to actually explain. But I just want to come from a social perspective to say, you know, DSTV, Multichoice, has round about 9 million subscribers. Just over 9 million. Apparently it's 9.5. And I doubt you would see all those subscribers are consistent in paying that decoder and everything. And then the population in Mzansi, as a country, it's 60K. I mean, 60 million. And understand. We'll have one family that has maybe 4 members and so we can roughly say there's like about 50 million or 40 million people who don't have access to DSTV. Who can't watch DSTV on a regular basis. And we know with Mzansi, football is a proper route to economic freedom, if I may. Economic gain, economic development, barring changing a generational curse. Football has played a part in so many families. We see today about Chomosono having teams. We see the great Kaizer Chiefs straight from Soweto, a young boy going overseas and coming back and blessing more people. So we've seen what football can do for individuals and the whole country. So sometimes these young boys communicating need to be inspired. And I feel like once you privatize, in a way, for lack of a better word, once you privatize football, over that chance, that exposure, that bit of motivation that they need, that good story to tell, like the ANC would say, that they need, they understand. They need to see the lodges, they need to see the Mfundos, they need to see the Asamoah Gyan's of this world, they understand. And once you close that door, you really kill not only dreams, but you also kill economic viability in a country. You understand? So for the benefit of the country, I do believe free to air should have at least the national teams games.
Okay.
Uncontested. Now, if we go back to sort of the business side, if we touch on the business side a bit, we've seen Multichoice by exclusive rights of the PSL. Do we really want to go that route? I don't want to question the PSL too much, but was it really fair with knowing what football does for the nation? You see, sometimes I'm a player who is famous in the country. Of course, it's because there's nothing on TV. Like, people actually don't even know who plays because they can't watch. I'm a game aware of Mr. OT on free to air. And if we're gonna do that Afcon, it's still better with people. We're not like, sometimes we think we're on the levels of England. Guys, we're not there.
Yeah.
As a country. And not in a bad way. You understand? We're quite a small country, we're still getting into our strides. And that these first world countries do, they really hamper us if we try and mimic them without without considering what something means to us. You understand? So to have football be exclusive when the actual market here football is the poorest of the poor, I don't think it's fair on the country. So from a social political perspective, I'm happy with the SABC having it. And because SABC is free to air, Mr. Oti, I can ask anyone on the panel here, when was the last time you paid your TV license? Email is hard to come by for the SABC. Now, for them to compete with someone who charges 1,000 for one of the packages, obviously it's a walkover for SuperSport. There is no competition. And for SuperSport to come back and sell the very same rights to SABC at a lower price than other people, I don't think it does any good for the nation. Well, understand. It's beautiful that SuperSport is pumping money. I will never criticize them for pumping money, but the method that they're using, I think we need to look into it.
Okay. I'm gonna come back. I wanna delve deeper into that. Kumo, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Hi, Kesha. How's everyone else doing, including yourself?
Me, I'm good. Me, I'm good. Thank you guys for the coins. Thank you guys for the gifts. Tell me, Malobeku, Utlakre Malobeku, tell me, Kumo. I know we had this conversation in the group. The coins again. We had this conversation in the group a little bit. And I know that you may come in from the super sports side. How do you feel about this rights issue?
Definitely, I'm gonna come in from the super sports side, including Motsepe side, because one thing that I wanna address, a lot of people were saying Motsepe is a figurehead, is a puppet, he doesn't care about football as a whole. Some people went as far to say super sport can show games, including the female games, to Europe, but they don't care about Afcon. Sometimes, guys, we have to understand before we make such remarks, especially on public platforms, because in the past, the rights holders nearly be in sports, and they could be in sport and super sport. They could negotiate successfully and get those rights, regardless of how corrupt they were. Being sport is a company of France, and the other thing, Super Sport, like Canal Plus, where are the two major partners to a point where now Canal Plus actually bought a stake in Super Sport. It shows the willingness the Super Sport has for development in Africa. Because of besides that, let me put a disclaimer. I don't work for Supersport, but I could never let a company that is South African owned. Granted, it's expensive, it shows a lot of repeats. I read that. But I know, like, out of most of these companies, especially Supersport, you're investor, more as a jolly, it even shows Bo Phillies games, things like that. Our DSTV, because of Super Sport. You understand? So now, and this notif happen right now, Super Sport, if it's a sports bet, or when it's an app where you can actually place bet. So definitely I know for a fact the Super Sports wanted to show the Afcon. This company, Yako Togo, Bariki New World TV. It was established 2 years ago, and rumor has it that this company is backed by finance. Like, think of this thing which is the what again Europe for Europe
Financial fair play. Oh, you again Europa.
No, not Europa. The one where had that many clubs rejected.
Oh, Super League.
Yeah, European football. Yeah, the Super League. So yeah, Super League. It's like Togo. That's Togo. This company from like New World TV. Your is gonna pump in so much money without actually giving everyone access to Afcon rights. So I want, because Yona is trying to become a rival with Super Sport, which I mentioned in the group earlier. It's impossible for now because you're like you only have 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
and most of those are only going to go francophone companies, meaning go West Africa, where those countries speak French. Super Sport, yeah, it's a monopoly, marinally rich. So it didn't make so. And happy the other thing I'm gonna tie in Motsepe this company. Motsepe couldn't do anything. I get you brought this guy to be fair. So if a company bids and pays more for the rights, what can Motsepe do? Because if Motsepe had to say, no, you can't have these rights because you have only a small population, but give them to Supersport, he was going to be accused of favoritism, he was going to be called corrupt. That is how Motsepe's hands were tied. Sharp, I understand this company wants to make a splash, this company wants to take on the let's mark currently, what it should have done, capture the entire Western Africa, maybe again go north, go east. In it establish and actually work le Canal Plus le DSTV. So the right say SABC, man. SABC pila. It's not a sports channel. It has its hiccups. So I understand for a lot of people, we want to get free stuff and watch because of it's gonna be good for development or whatever. Mara, these guys play, guys. So you can't expect Super Sport to buy a Cameroon but 1,000+ camera guys or whatever the case might be, then give you the stuff for free because you feel like you are deserve it. Happily, to football is a brand. Football is a brand in the marketing, in so many elements, and they need to generate money somehow. So yeah, man, this rights issue, we have to go into deeper for everyone to understand what I'm doing. Well, right now I'm paraphrasing, so I fear what I might be confusing a lot of people on the panel. But let me give others a chance to speak. Then we can go next round. Yeah.
Guys, there's two spaces open, and I've been asking guys, those who are new to the show, who watch it, jump on, guys, jump on. Arakanyari CV, as Malume Kutso says, the panel is not CV. People jump in if you have an idea, an opinion, so we can have that conversation. Hausa, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, my man. It's been a while, yo. Hey.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Aye, man. Hausa, tell me, what do you think about this Afcon rights issue?
When it comes to the national team, in my opinion, SABC should have what SuperSport calls exclusive rights. The national team is one of the things that, for when the SABC and the other state broadcasters were established, it was to publicize such things. I can the PSL is a different argument, on its own. But when it comes to the national team, I believe that a national broadcaster must have the rights to say whether rugby, cricket, netball, whatever. If it's national, you must broadcast it. So, in my opinion, Afcon is gonna reach a lot of more people via the SABC route in South Africa more than they would with the Multichoice deal. The numbers that were said, I forgot who called out the numbers. I'm looking at them right now.
Yeah.
The game for the rugby game, the Rugby World Cup, had more reach via the SABC route and the the SABC Plus. The SABC Plus numbers were more than the DSTV ones. What does that tell you? So Afcon, I'm one of the people who got very excited when SABC got the right. Yes, they might blunder when it comes to commentary and all that, but for the purpose of reach and national support, as Abutu Kutso said, when you look at this in a social aspect, you understand why SABC is a good fit, rather than the Multichoice. I mean, we can say when we look at the what do you call this? The racial, when we take the social aspect and we look at it from a racial point of view, we assume that majority of white people have DSTV, right? But then when you look at the statistics from SABC during the World Cup, you'd see most of them were watching via the SABC, So it is important for such tournaments that it is broadcasted on SABC. What the complaint that people are having that you are watching North Macedonia versus Northern Ireland, but Egypt versus Tanzania was playing, nobody broadcasted it. That's the thing that kills African football. We can talk about the schools development channel they have, Super Sports and all that. But then if we are being honest, how does broadcasting a team of players we don't know versus Mohamed Salah, you excluding Mohamed Salah from our screens, how you look at, apparently they didn't even show the Super League, the African they didn't show it. So what does that tell you? What's the point of them trying to fight for Afcon when they could not show a tournament that is based in Africa? Those are my complaints about Super Sports and them wanting exclusive rights for everything. It's a very inhumane thing to do for them to say that we want exclusive rights in South Africa for football when their reach is not even that big. I mean, we can delve in deeper. Before they got the exclusive rights to the PSL, we look at the stadiums, we look at the ticket, the seats that were being filled in the stadium, we look at the viewership of the PSL. It's clear that removing the PSL from SABC was a huge blunder for South Africa, because it's been how many years? It's been close to 5 years since they've lost those, if I'm not mistaken, 5 or 6 years since they lost those, SABC lost those rights. And what are we seeing at our stadiums? Because people don't know who's playing. Before the game up Orlando Pirates, I was watching it with my dad. He asked every time a soccer player, a Pirates player touched the ball, he would ask, "Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" That is a problem. That is the problem. The thing of us not being a soccer nation. Yes, we are not, as Obdukuzo said, that it's not malicious to say that we are not on the standard of England. But how will we get there when I have to pay 1,000 rand for me to see somebody I could have seen for free and went to the stadium, filled the stadiums and made more money for the league? You know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
that's
No. I hear you, Hausa. Let me welcome Fenzo. Fenzo, welcome to the show. How are you? You can just unmute there, Fenzo. How are you doing, my brother?
Am I audible?
Yes. No, we can hear you perfectly.
I'm good.
Tell me, where do you stand on
yeah.
this topic of the football rights for Afcon?
No, Supersport, we must not be complacent in letting Supersport know that what they did here was very, very wrong. Okay, let me first touch on the national team sporting rights when it comes to all national teams, not even even football alone, but particularly the major sports, which are football, cricket, and rugby. There is no way that those sports are not broadcasted when the national team plays. Those are not broadcasted on the national broadcast. That we must be very clear. It's a disgrace that the test series against India is happening and none of our people have free to air access to those series. I think that is where we have to begin. So it is very important to fight against that before we go anywhere. I don't know why government are not getting involved with this, but it must be a requirement for Supersport to operate in our country that they must always offer free to air rights when it comes to Bafana games and rugby, Springbok games and cricket games. Then after that, then you can ask SABC to start paying, but not for national teams.
Okay.
And any national team that is relevant to the viewers that is going to an international tournament. We must be very clear on that basis. And then secondly, I want to touch on this blatant disrespect that is being shown by Supersport. Supersport thinks it's what I'm seeing is that because Supersport has run a clear monopoly in terms of sport broadcasting in sub-Saharan Africa, they believe now that they can boss anyone around. So that is clearly what you can't tell me that when even if SABC is the national broadcaster, you can't tell me that Supersport can struggle to get that SABC got access to those
This
rights
Afcon.
before to the Afcon rights before multi-choice. Let's even permit not even permit the Supersport, but rather multi-choice. $1 billion, not even rent, $1 billion revenue company. No, that is a blatant show of disrespect. We get to watch about Luxembourg, North Macedonia, but yet we can't watch Afcon. Even the thing of qualifiers, you want to fight against it and say you are being fooled, but who you are presenting your product to. You are an African-based company. Your clientele is Africans. Yes, we want European qualifiers, but we want the big teams. I can't be watching. I remember one time waking up in the morning and I see the highlights of North Macedonia versus, I think it was Armenia or something like that. And it was playing live yesterday. That is a nonsense. Why we can't watch our own African countries playing their games? No, we must speak out against that. We must talk. As a super sport and multi-choice should know what is their clientele base.
Yeah.
I'm happy they finally got back to their senses and understood that they had to get these rights because they're showing a blatant disrespect to our people. We cannot frame it another way. So what we are saying also is that. So another point of mine is that SuperSport must stop with this thing of multi-choice. This is the plea to multi-choice as a whole, that you need to introduce a sports package where you have all the sports offering exclusively for those, because you need to understand that this actually is going to help your revenue, because many people there are many people, as much as you've heard the saying that the only, you've seen, I'm sure many times that people always say, the only reason I still have DSTV is because of sports. Particularly, even people left the premium option, they have now come to the compact option because they're like, it's useless. Other than sport, what do I watch? Now it's gonna come to a point where now people are, as the subscription increases, people are gonna be like, now it's time. You are gonna use the illegal side. I watched how you see. I was with somebody who told me that they don't. During the weekend, I visited a friend of mine who literally doesn't have DSTV or anything. He uses illegal site. We watched the Liverpool versus Arsenal FA Cup that played on Sunday. There, and it was full on HD, no buffering, no nothing. So what is that telling us? It's telling us there is a market for that is going to get exploited more and more as internet becomes more easily accessible in South Africa. Because we are now seeing many houses in the townships that now have unlimited Wi-Fi, uncapped Wi-Fi. Now a person with uncapped Wi-Fi, now wants us is not gonna refuse to. It's gonna obviously gonna choose the latter. They're gonna have to choose between what, paying the Wi-Fi or paying what, DSTV. And what are they gonna choose? They're gonna pay the Wi-Fi because it has what, a higher bright side.
I'm just gonna jump in there, Fenzo, just for time. I wanna let in Johnny. Johnny, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you? Johnny, can you hear me? I think we're just having an issue there. Johnny, try jump back on. I'll let you back on. Guys, please tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. Let's try get 25,000. I'm gonna read some of the comments before I go back to Oprah Julius. Let me see what's happening here in the comments. SABC must add one more channel, says Kalifang, a sports channel. Kumo says we start paying TV lessons. Kalifang says I owe SABC 6. Hey guys, why are you guys outing yourselves here? Let's see. Panenom says in terms of quality, SuperSport is the best. SABC is struggling already with other sporting codes. Today I'm listening and being on the bench to be educated by Ukumo says, agent. Snobile says championship is not boring. CAF is very corrupt, too much. But you knew when you gave you props, you'll glow. Hey, you guys are busy. You too. In the comments. In England, World Cup was broadcasted on BBC only. Big tournaments should be on free-to-air only. But the quality of football also plays a role, says GT, with JP with the previous comment. Tao says, who's the chief that tried to buy PSL rights? Once they have a standalone SuperSport package, they will lose Mzansi Magic customers. Julius, I want to come back to you. In this conversation, man, I understand everybody saying that we should take it to SABC. But you cannot deny the amounts of money that SuperSport is putting into cameras and all of that stuff. Are we letting the SABC off easy when saying that, guys, you guys just take it. You guys can have these rights regardless of what you do with them, because we see with Bafana, for example, some of the games we can't even watch even though they've got the rights.
You mean the SuperSport guys? You feel like they're basically
No, I'm saying it feels as though we want to give SABC the rights, even though when we look at the SABC, it took a very long time to get to SABC Plus. We still don't have a sports channel free to air. The rights that they do have often clash with the programming that they have on at times. Are we not just making it? Is it not just a simple argument to say SABC must take it, whereas the guys they're competing with have pumped in a lot of money and a lot of quality into the stuff that they do?
But like earlier, I wanted to ask, like, did SuperSport put in a bid to buy the rights, or they just said we're not competing? Because for me, if they did not put the bid to host, no matter, we know what SuperSport can do. the feedback they can give, their reviews and everything. Otsoroka SABC, bo one match ka 6, ka 8 match of the generations. So the stuff like that. SABC is not like, for me, this should be an eye-opener for Warner, SABC. But okay, let's have a channel along sports. Baskacha bar onyaga sports we onyaga wana game ja bafana swantse we SABC what plus what ngeni. No, but your channel one bar, you know what? This is our chance to shine. Let's have SABC 3. Wena mona bereka ka sports mona. Tano chenchana kamera rafa di update cha soccer kamera mara oni jwalo bato wotore for you to watch that. They do have that channel, but is it available to everybody? It's not. You know. So such things for me, SABC. For me, SABC is their time to shine. Have sometimes just do what your competitor is doing, and maybe do that better. You know. Let about the legends. You know what SuperSport used to do at the previous tournaments? They'll bring a guy like JJ Okocha on his own with otale crowd nyana. Only Alexi Asalati otale crowd nyana. They will bring. I remember they even brought a guy from Team Sherwood or something.
Team Sherwood.
I was here in South Africa giving expert analysis into games. So SABC, for me, this is a chance for them. Just shine, try your best. If they, cause the program in Jabona, sometimes not one of the use. It's not like I'm undermining such, cause they do follow. But have eval batwa sports urbana ar kutemu. Chedin shirta resolve kamera. Mara ar kutemu rebemu. Olele SABC. The local game you fell pelor game fell because Nkunzu 8. You know, if they can like back cancel so Babel channel sports, focus on sports, Babel sharp. Kadi rise cha PSL football. Those it's done. There's nothing we can do, and I don't know how will that be solved. So for me, the chance SuperSport was sharp by so our cool. Maragono Garavanyo go try. I'm not sure if Kibare Nagamuki or Kiba Ghana or Kibakai. Maragono Garavanyo go try. Only reports it no trailer about hey, Mugar they wanna purchase this, they wanna what, they wanna what. You know. But for me, SABC shine, time to shine.
Okay, guys, please tap the screen now. 25,000. Let that happy screen. It's free. Malama Kuto, I want to come to you. Are we? I'm trying to phrase the question in a way. Are we not then punishing SuperSport by saying that they mustn't charge money, or it must be free, or it must automatically go to SABC, when SABC on its own is not, we can't necessarily say that they're doing the business in terms of making sure that when we say 54 matches are available, all 54 matches will be available. You're not going to be getting in between our scheme sum and those things. Are we not just giving them an easy pass as the SABC?
Can I just start by acknowledging Guti? As I was speaking, I saw like 9 gifts come in, right? And I see the name, I'm like, hey man, this name looks familiar, man. So I'm thinking, but TD Jakes is busy with Puff Daddy there, could never be TD Jakes. I'm thinking TB Joshua is busy with his documentary there. Can't you know? It's Piri Jokes.
Yeah.
Piri Jokes is a TikTok legend.
Very big.
I think he's the first one to have a TikTok live dance. Shout out Piri Jokes, man. Anyway, I think I get your question properly, you know? And the truth is, yes, from my side, I'm definitely letting SABC off the hook. Okay. However, it's not without caution. And it's not without limits. I like the trajectory that we are moving in that we are saying anything that has to do with the national team should be a free pass for the SABC. When it comes to, there are other super games that do not include South Africa, and there are so many super games. Like Morocco versus Algeria, Morocco versus Nigeria, Nigeria versus Algeria, Egypt versus Nigeria, and so forth and so forth. Ivory Coast versus Tunisia. These are mega houses in SA, powerhouses even. So such matches, I would understand when they are used as commodities to say, okay, when they are commodified to say, to get these games, you have to be business-like, especially if they don't involve the country. In Tunisia, that game should be free. However, once you are outside of Tunisia, then we can start saying, how much are you bringing to the table? You understand? Then that's where Multichoice can have their business. You understand? Even with the PSL, guys, I believe it's Soweto Derby, even though it's barely the most viable. Soweto Derby should be free. But there's also other games like Sundowns versus Pirates, which is more intense these days than the Soweto Derby, if we're being honest. If you've been to the stadium and it's Pirates versus Sundowns, it smells like death at some point. You're like, I'm uncomfortable now. So those games, you can try and commodify it and say, mfuni mali for this one. You understand? But for national team, I'm like, let's give it to SABC. And they've got SABC Plus. I think with the SABC decoder, it does come with the channel. And I've noticed that I think SABC one that plays that decoder is different from the SABC one that used to play analog somehow. Like you would, and the SABC one that plays on DSTV is different from the SABC that plays with the digital compact SABC. You can check that out. At some point they have games on the 1 year that digital, and when you go to the 1 year DSTV, it's your Uzalos and everything. So let's also understand, guys, with SABC, aina budget enga nge Super Sport, and the purpose of SABC is to feed the nation. The purpose of Super Sport is to take from the nation, and I say that respectfully, not with intention to make them look bad. Their purpose, value, is to take money from the nation. Because why? They are a business. SABC, their intention is to give to the nation. Why? They're not a business. They are a public broadcaster. So the metric used to measure the two cannot be the same and can never be the same. It's like a public school and a private school. A private school must have 100% distinction rate. Because when you get there, they say, Wanaka, you're not smart enough to take physics. We are going to give you arts and culture until matric. But go public school, if you say, hey, me, I want physics. They're like, I can't wanaka, because they want you at school. You understand? So the purpose will never be the same, and therefore the metric to measure both parties can never be the same. So from me, I will admit I am giving SABC a free pass.
But then, just a quick question then: with a lot of the matches that they do have, they haven't had the bandwidth to show them. Should we, away from SuperSport, does there come a time where we have to question SABC and say, but guys, it's been 30 years. Shouldn't you guys at this point now be able to have 2 or 3 more channels and be able to do these things comfortably without moving around and Kutso's losing this and I'm losing that and I must watch it think I won because there's a match at 3 and other audience that they have might get ticked off at this thing doing that? Shouldn't we be questioning SABC? Because for me, it feels as though, and I don't want to sound weird, but it feels as though we're rewarding the SABC for not moving forward.
Well, that's why it's with limits. We should question them, Mr. Oti. We can't accept mediocrity, because next thing you'll see those black, white, green, pink lines appear on TV and but sorry, we really can't accept it. We have to hold them to a certain level, standard to say, SABC, you should broadcast. And sometimes you get some dodgy kind of commentators where you're like, you understand, on the SABC. I've experienced that. I've seen that. Uti, there are points that I don't think would need that much budget just to improve. And they should improve on that. And also, I must say, relating to our commentators that in as much as I'm criticizing SABC commentators, right? SABC actually produces some of the greatest commentators. DSTV. Almost all of them are from the SABC. So it's like SABC is a breeding ground. It's like maybe now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's the environment at the SABC that's not conducive. Because all of them, where can I come on? Babam
Thomas.
I know who's that? The guy who says it's Ogali TV. That guy is also from the SABC. You understand? So maybe they do have the personnel, and maybe they should create an environment where their personnel can shine.
Okay, Kumo, I'm gonna come to you. Are we letting the SABC off the hook here? Because in as much as SuperSport is taking things away, they up the quality, they add a lot of money on top of that, and they also fund a lot of things, including the league itself. For example, are we then just giving SABC an out?
I'm not, you guys are. And you forget to mention Hore SuperSport built a world-class stadium dedicated to facilities dedicated to broadcasting sports. We want the camera quality, the analysis and stuff. And guys, you forget to SABC. Forget what Abutu Kuto said. SABC company, in the tax number, it pays its employees. So just because it can't compete, but again, actually it can compete. It's supposed to be competing le SuperSport financial. Like it really has more reach. I get in a little Metro FM, in a little Mamma, in a whatever. So they should be making a lot of money to compete le SuperSport. First of all, how can you forget of SuperSport? It's also a company. It's serious. SuperSport. Eyako Saru being South African rugby, Eyako CSA, Eyako PSL. To get those exclusive rights. I understand it sucks, but it pays for them, and it doesn't make sense for them to get those rights if I be those free rights, just so you guys can say, yeah, SuperSport, it's a company, rapila for what. Guys, these people are professionals. It sucks, not everyone has access to them. In an ideal world, and the notion, because of the reason why there are so many empty Sitsko Stadium is because of people don't have access to, to football matches. It's actually a contradiction. If people cannot watch TV games, then they should be going to the stadiums to fill them up. Isn't it so? But my guy, now my thing is like, rumors, obviously this company, New World TV, ekawatile SuperSport ya fa SFB di rights SCB ya blandara ashifa lona ibuletse ya re bona they won't be able to show the rights. Then after 2 days ya change and it's gonna broadcast 54. I wonder where, because of the TV shows that keep the Let's On Go SABC kiskim samle SABC lo zalo I don't wanna lose viewership because of those funny shows. Are they gonna sacrifice them babonsa game and Namibia le Burkina Faso as an example? They won't. So SuperSport doyona. And it can't just offer SuperSport as a package, because SuperSport la levala or happen in a lubumo 161 moja love. Those things also have to be paid for. There are producers which are local and stuff. So if you guys understand you're gonna watch these streaming things online, it's I get you're entitled to multi-choices content. It should be free. So you want Paris. So you want Paris to watch the same things you complain about. Is that fair? You forget this is our company, it's homegrown, and law it needs to pay people. I bet you do the guys. You do the and understand maybe I might be coming from a position of privilege. Mara guys, let's be fair. You can't keep getting things so free. Let's say BC that you advocate so blankly. When last did you guys pay TV licenses? I don't remember. And the worst part, it's a once-off yearly fee. So we are not bo siya kolisi ba ba leng mo national contracts bo ka isora ba leng mo national contracts. How are they gonna pay? Because FIFA doesn't give free. FIFA like Hefe, Lebusaru, they don't give these rights for free. Super Sports, it beat for them. And a Super Sport azanga yahan of SABC the rights economic. So SABC it's poorly managed. The financial aspect of thing, like the revenue from Metro alone could probably buy the rights in Moon and the rights are this year Afcon from 2023 to 2025. Do you know how much you will pay for them? $80 million. That's 1.5. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the financial Super Sport. It's 1.5 billion. I don't know if you guys saw how the Super Sport lost money. At the past financial year, I think it lost about $1 billion. So it's bleeding money because people can't afford subscriptions anymore. So enyaka ilo compete and pay so much money with this company. It doesn't make business sense. It doesn't make business sense. And do you think or Ayazama to get those rights? Because they know they wouldn't invest so much studio just not to show this stuff. Come on, guys, let's think about this properly before we just put in judgment there. Let nice people put our money where our mouth is. Supporting SABC, then it come to Super Sport.
Kalanka support overthinking football. That's where we must start. But Arembo. Guys, please tap the screen. Let's go to 25k likes. Hausa, are we giving SABC a free pass just for the sake of giving them? Because I feel like we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You've got a free-to-air station that has all the reach in the world, but may not have the bandwidth to carry all of the things it has. And then you have another one that has all of the bandwidth to carry, but you have to pay quite a bit to get in. How do we balance that?
You know, we shouldn't just let them be, you know. We live in a world where we must, we're not addressing things leads us to where we are, you know. In SABC losing the right, we cannot just blame DSTV, Multichoice. They also had a hand to play in them not fulfilling what they were created to do. And just to answer Kumo here, there's a difference between national broadcaster and Multichoice. You know, you see that Multichoice makes both of them have the same revenue stream in one thing, advertising. You know, when we speak about reach, we speak about the advertising part, you know, but then why we lose it on soccer is because of corruption. That I would not put it past the SABC. We've seen what happened. We know what happened with SABC Sports, why it's only an online thing, not a analog thing, you know. It was meant to be there, you know, but then those are two different things that are not a Google search away. You know, you can see the difference between a national broadcaster and a for-profit company, you know, an LTD and a P2 LTD, you know, and their intentions are two different things. Whether they pay their workers or anything, but the intentions of the two companies are two different things, you know. But then to add on to that, what we should do what's supposed to happen is we are supposed to call out SABC, not only ka Afcon fela, but then PSL, you know, and to bring your attention to something. What we are saying when we say that the few eyeballs are on TV, when there are few eyeballs on the game, people lose interest, you know, and won't go to the stadiums, you know. These things are things that are not hidden from us. If you see less of something, you lose interest. That's what's happening with the PSL. You know, you look at what the game today. People didn't see what happened between what do you call this?
Bafana and Lesotho.
Bafana and Lesotho. But please go on Twitter today and check the outrage that is there on the game. You know, how are we not beating Lesotho? And that's a fair question. But then you see how hard some people still think that Chabalala still play. That's what happens when you lose, when eyeballs are not on your sports. You look at rugby. I keep coming to rugby because these are the easily available statistics between the Reach and Super Sports and SABC, because it's something that happened recently and both of them published their statistics. What I'm trying to get to is that national team should be a non-negotiable. I mean, there are things that even in you look at what's they mentioned England. Actually, all European countries look at their the national broadcasters, not their for-profit broadcasters companies. The other ones, they have them. ITV,
BBC.
You hear when they went. No, BBC is a national broadcaster.
Yeah,
but
okay,
I'm
sorry.
about
Yes,
the
yes.
similar ones to Multichoice. You look at when they complain about when the British complain about not having all games available, but then you would never hear them complain about any English games. When the national teams when they're playing. So the SABC, we must be held accountable for not fulfilling their intentions with SABC Sports. It was supposed to be a channel. It was proposed to be a channel, So we shouldn't let them free. We shouldn't just let them do as they please. But then there are some things that we should say, no, they deserve to have them, whether they are corrupt or not. You guys... I think the idea that we vilify ourselves so much that we don't see that other countries that we look up to are either the same as corrupt as we are or even more. You look at the scandal star BBC, but I digress. So
okay.
There are things that should be non-negotiable. The national teams should be on SABC.
Let me bring in KG. KG, welcome to the show. I'm gonna throw you directly in the deep end. Are we giving the SABC a pass by saying that they should automatically have these games?
Yeah, but I'm one guy who also lost faith in SABC when they even lied to us because I do watch other sports. I remember the other games of rugby, they will say it's so live. And if you don't have DStv, you will think it's live, but the game is 1 hour halfway through, or it's almost the game is done, but they will say it's live. Even with Babafana, I think one of the game of Babafana, they said so. That's the last time that I lost faith in SABC. They lied to us. They say the game is live, but when you check on the app, the game is finished and Babafana lost. And you just think that SABC never took us serious. And even when I know some people like Babam Teto used to attract viewers, but if they know that they don't have capacity to keep him, they should know that from now on, whenever we have a star, he must come and motivate the young ones. We must produce the other one. If this one leaves, then we're gonna have someone. If that's the management, the SABC, I don't know. Most of the time they are fooling us, because even with these games, even with Afcon, they knew that Afcon is coming 3 years ago, 4 years ago. They should be prepared. Even with games of Bafana Fan, it seems like a week before, that's where they're trying to secure rights there. Well, you knew before. The FIFA calendar has been saying Bafana Fan will pay friendlies this weekend next year. But they didn't go and buy those rights. They only want to buy them 2 weeks before, and we want to come and blame SuperSport. I really don't understand. We can't just say we're blaming SuperSport. We know SuperSport, they have the muscle. And even now, I thought SuperSport, if they're not going to air the Afcon, is because they trying to focus on the SA20, the cricket, and there's a lot of things that there's also young cricket World Cup that's going on. So I thought they're concentrating on that one. But with SABC, we can't give them a pass. They're the ones who are failing themselves. They knew about Afcon maybe 2 years ago. They should have tried something, and they should have secured these rights. And I think also, even when they say they secured their rights, I thought most of the games, they won't play them. They will play other games, and most of them, they will be delayed. We're playing at 12 o'clock, some of these games. So I really don't trust SABC.
Okay, KG. CJ with the burner, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Oji, how are you?
Now you know I'm always fine, my brother. I'm always fine. I could always ask you. CJ, I'm going to drop you into the deep end. Are we giving SABC Are we letting them off the hook by saying that these national team games must be exclusively for them automatically? And even Afcons?
It should be a law that when the national team is playing, or it should be a law that anything that is of national interest, it should be broadcast by the national broadcaster. Anything that is of national interest, be it the national team is playing or the national team is being represented in a particular tournament or Olympics or whatever, the rights should automatically go to the national broadcaster. That should not even be subject, because it is a service that the national broadcaster is delivering to its people. It should not even be a matter of money or anything. It's a service that government vows that one of its duties broadcast national interest to its people.
But then the question becomes about the bandwidth then. Should we not look at the SABC and say, hey, mara guys, nani, nahlala no SABC 1, 2, and 3. Nahlala no late games, sometimes you can't watch Bafana games freely, availably, or on TV or whatever. Shouldn't we be questioning them and saying, hey, mara guys, and maybe, look, we don't know what their plan was with Afcon. They probably have a plan. Maybe the SABC Plus app becomes something bigger. But up to this point, Boma marketing of these games, Boma showing the games.
I don't know what happened with the Bafana and the late delayed broadcasting of the games. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe there was a miscommunication, maybe with the country that Bafana securing the rights also to broadcast. I don't know what happened. But I know for a fact that when it comes to national teams, the SABC has top preference. They're not supposed to be selling those things. It's not, because it's not business. It's like trains. It's a service that you are giving to the people. You're not doing it so that you get interest.
Okay.
And with rugby as well. That's why they were in rugby. They were broadcasting all the teams all the games that the Springboks are playing, other than the rest of the games in the World Cup as well. So I don't think this should be any. But the problem with SABC, it is securing space for sport. That's my issue. It's securing a space that is accessible to all South Africans to display sports. That's my only issue with SABC. Not just even sports that Super Multichoice is not displaying and showing and broadcasting. They don't even. It's not like someone is sitting there. Is like, how can we make sports relevant? You know, maybe what is happening at SABC Sport is a reflection of what is going on in our government schools. The importance of sports as well. Maybe it's filtering that our government is not a government that is serious about sports as well, because you can't have a national broadcaster that you want it national broadcaster and you're not broadcasting sports. It shows that you're not serious about it. It shows that you're not serious about it. I thought that with the all established, SABC Sport, you will get to have channels dedicated just for sports alone.
Okay, Sinjay.
Yeah.
Let me just look at these comments quickly, guys. Please tap the screen. 10.3. How are you gonna get to 25? Tap the screen, guys. Tap the screen. Tap the screen. And while I'm here, let me give a shout out to Tolani, to Upidi Jokes, the legend, to Prince, to Kolani, again, thank you so much for the roses as well. PD, thank you so much for the roses, guys. Please gift when you can. But if you can't gift, all I needed to do is tap the screen and so, guys, just for 3 minutes straight, just like this. And let's see if we can get to 25K likes. Let me read some of these comments here. Out of 60 million people in SA, we can't pick 11 that can represent us, says PD. But the football is also bad. Let's see. Once they have a standalone SuperSport package, they lose Mzansi Magic customers. Leander. Ngbongi support, my brother. You're always here. I enjoy you, man. Some matches will be broadcast on SABC Sport Channel if you have a smartphone, I guess, a smart TV or an electronic device. You'll be able to see it, says UJP. Kolani says it's about the money. Tao says Multichoice has the monopoly on SA TV rights, even SABC itself. I swear we don't beat Lesotho. We played Lesotho to a 0-0 draw this afternoon. Let me see. But to pay your TV license, SABC Sports does have a channel. It's just not on the DSTV package. I'm Anthony says, how did SuperSport lose the rights to televise the games? Apparently, there's two stories. One is that they didn't want them, and then the other story is that New World TV actually made it difficult for them to acquire those rights, so that's why they didn't go for it. Let's see. It's BN. BN has the rights for global, and then New TV Media has the rights for Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Malamakuto, actually, no, let me not ask that one. What does the future of this look like? Because it feels like we're in a stalemate. We've got one national broadcaster who may not have the bandwidth to show, and we've got another pay TV broadcaster who doesn't allow us all in. What is the future of this? And should other properties like the PSL be keeping an eye on this situation?
Well, Mr. Oti, I can tell you from my heart that we've seen the show before. If nothing changes at the SABC as well, remember this is a two-way street. I can't just put it on with you guys. No, give it to them mahala, because at some point the SABC also benefits. They also have people who sneak through and be like, can we sponsor your broadcast? McDonald's will come through there, or whichever brand, and SABC will pocket everything. It's a case of abafethu. Sinkailento mahala, it's like booking an artist. If Casper is your uncle and he comes to your home, he'll perform until he finds out that you're charging people $250 at the gate. Then his face changes. It's like, you understand? It's exactly the situation. Give me that money, get some money. Understand? It's exactly the same thing. When they're giving SABC all of these things mahala, and then they find out SABC is making a ton load of revenue from sponsorships and advertisers. Then SuperSport will also come in and ask, okay, why are we paying 1 billion when our counterpart is making as much money? And I'm not so sure if they're counterparts, because in that statement where SuperSport declared that they would not be televising it, yeah, they said something like our partner. I still don't understand that, how they said SABC was their partner. I would love to get into that and understand. So at the same time, that's why it has to be a two-way street. The leadership at the SABC has to come to the party as well to say, we now have strategies. We've now secured viewerships. We've now secured viewerships that can buy your products, and therefore we've generated sponsorships, and we can instead of saying no, we can only give you 200,000, we can now give you 500,000 until we have such leadership. And also at SuperSport, until we have leadership that sees a different products. Remember, you could be selling games, but your product's not necessarily games. It's the billboard that comes with the games. So until they can define their business and they work on it, both parties, I can tell you for Mahala that these things will go back to your super sport. It is very difficult to stay in Mr. Oti. I'm sometimes out here saying, yeah, broke niggas, forgive us. But sometimes I understand when ladies are like, how about Loberek? I'm tired. I understand. And sometimes I feel like SABC is a broke nigga. They just voice out towards Nistandi and Niswasheli. But they don't. I'm a pechi. Ngapa nangu Edwin Sodi pechang Ferrari. You understand? They wanna leave you. You understand? Ultimately, the love is gonna end. So I feel like at some point, SABC needs to come to the party, hire the right people who can generate a business, maybe go back to Loya Baba owner that thing.
So then, wait, Malumukuzo, I want to ask you just a straight question. Do either of them take us as seriously as they should be taking us?
Well, by either of them, we're talking about three parties, right? Which would be the product provider being either CAF, PSL, UEFA, whoever, and the two parties being SABC and SuperSport. Well, I can't blame CAF much. Actually, we should be applauding CAF for trying, for really trying to get these public broadcasters involved. Actually, what they did right now was a setup to say, if we give it to the private sector first, the public won't have it. Let's give it to the public, and the private will succumb because they know this comes with sponsorship. They will succumb for a deal that they would not necessarily want to take. They will go in, okay, give us those games even though they're not exclusive. Unlike the SABC, once the rights are on SuperSport side, SuperSport starts selling those delayed games, as Abuti there at the top was complaining about, and that has hurt me before because I didn't have access to Rugby. I would also watch delayed games. On the internet, on Twitter, people are swearing at the rugby team, or people are happy. They're talking about how Kolisi was great, and I'm like, but Kolisi is still playing, guys. So I understand that frustration. You understand? So the SABC to a certain degree, I started serious. I've watched also that great show that they had, PSL,
Soccer Zone,
through at the Eye of the Needle.
Oh, okay.
No, there's that show. PSL, the PSL documentary.
Oh, Pulse of the Nation.
Pulse of the Nation. Hey, through Eye of the Needle, guys, is a book by the ANC, but it's fine. Pulse of the Nation. I saw on Pulse of the Nation where they spoke about how SABC knew the nation would revolt if PSL did not give them the rights, and therefore would give them ridiculous bids that did not make sense at all. That has to change. And from that regard, I don't think SABC is such a serious. We just need to find leadership there that can get money in and start bidding at least something respectful to product providers.
Okay. Kumo, do any of the parties take us seriously? CAF, SuperSport, SABC, and I mean this in terms of CAF. We often complain about CAF, Guti, visibility of CAF in certain countries south of the equator. It's not as strong. And then when you look at SuperSport, they have the product, but are they putting as much behind the product? And then you look at certain products, and you look at the SABC, where, for example, they have Bafana Bafana, the matches, and most times you don't even know when Bafana Bafana is going to be played. For example,
SuperSport is the only party at serious. And I'm glad, Malumukuzo, you quoted Pulse of a Nation. Lena, I had the privilege of watching it on SuperSport. Okay. No. It was a very fascinating documentary. Like I remember, for since the 80s, right? The SABC have had exclusive rights for Ntoena to PSL games. Even then, it was nice because I don't know, I listen to talk radio. I don't like listening to sports on radio. But I grew up knowing what people actually like to listen to radio. It was a vibe back then. But it wasn't sustainable. Hence why when Koza and that guy one marketing, I forgot his name, he's from England, came up with this thing and got Mnet Multichoice on board, got the PSL rights. It was a big thing for the PSL because now the league can actually become professional and everything else, right? So right now, man, you guys are looking at this. I'm gonna use this thing they always use on me, especially on me. I'm being emotional. So many of you guys are also being emotional. Sasalangi, SABC is traded, it's a commercial entity. It advertises commercial space and it should act the way it's supposed to act. Again, I'm going to give you an example, which I'm going to repeat again. SuperSport, and I'm glad, SuperSport, it's a built these world-class facilities for analysis, and whatnot. You can see the variable. And they're also bringing the legends like Hausa mentioned, Bo JJ Ogoja, Bo Ian Wright. Who has Ian Wright? Reina go SABC, Bartlela Bo. Wa ba itse batho ba SABC.
Don't say names, please, but
Nay, so this guy, the reason why you're complaining about SABC being a top performer, you're complaining about SuperSport because this is how I'm gonna do it, and it outshines SABC to a point where you think it's unfair. It was something else, you were gonna call it why monopoly capital. Well, you're already calling it that way. Marla wona like a rich happen SuperSport in a rich mountain more African diaspora. SABC to refella Lesotho le Swaziland. I wanna maybe Botswana.
Jamaica. Generations plays go Jamaica.
Oh, I wanna, generation. I wanna, give Pundum Vundla. I say SABC. I wanna learn what China give out of. So, guys, SABC give me try. You don't pay your subscription to SABC. Entitled mentality. Happen SuperSport do say, Yareka. Napatela, wawona, and negotiate, wawona. And so guys, guys, Helen SuperSport, Bible Steady Flame, Lava. And I want to get serious. I can't complain no more. We won't be able to see games on SuperSport, even though you got the free one from SABC. I lay help because like so one make 4. Lowana Salaka 12 kamat. And now we can never matter because we can stay up late. I'm not going through. But as soon as my point, as soon as SuperSport had your cries, I go be in sports and get and got the rights for us. SABC Natava. It doesn't even answer you on Twitter when you guys complain. So let's talk about that.
Hey man, I forgot. Wait, I forgot. Maybe it's because I didn't play Kumo in sound before.
Just do it nice. Just be a gentleman.
Please.
I forgot to warn me.
Let me go to Hausa. Do any of these people take us seriously? Because, for example, I always go on here about how we know so much about UEFA. Wait, stats, player. We see the highlights, it's that thing. We see all these things. Whereas when you come to even Afcon, when last did you see the highlights of the final? When last did you see the best goals of that thing? As an example, when you look at 203 versus 202, man, sometimes I wonder there's a bit of a difference there. And then on the SABC side, Bafana Bafana, they have the rest, Bafana Bafana, Banyana, but then we don't know when they're playing. It doesn't seem like there's marketing, promotions, things like that. It seems like they're taking it for granted. Do any of the people take us seriously?
As Abutukuto mentioned, it's 3 parties. But then for this one, I'll focus on the 2 that we're talking about. As I said, MultiChoice is a for-profit company, so their aim is to make profit. In that sense, I can understand what they are doing, you know. But for SABC, like any government entity, we have to fight a million battles before we can get one thing right. You know, the SABC doesn't take their viewers very seriously. You look at the content they are producing, and also on the sports side. Like I said, we can't excuse the fact that they have failed after promising people that they will have a free-to-air SABC Sports channel on analog, you know. So now I see what they are doing with the SABCsports.com and SABC Plus, you know. And even though we see Salah 12 hours after the game has played, but then, hey, Kuvo, but then they don't take the citizens into consideration when they do things, you know. We cry that the national teams must be on SABC, but then there's no leadership, there's no management to lead such things, you know. It's really a problem, you know. I don't have a problem with MultiChoice as per se, but then since this being a topic about the national team, you know, we expect a national broadcaster to broadcast the national team. You know, it's simple things like that get us to this point where we have to have such conversations. It's because the SABC lacks what we can say lacks respect for South Africans. You know, that we have to pay a lot of money just to see Bafana play a draw with Lesotho. I mean, that game should be free to air, you know. We're supposed to just switch on the TV and see that game, you know. But then I don't have a huge problem with the pricing for MultiChoice. The current economic situation we find ourselves, that's a different topic conversation. But as we stand here, the only people who clearly do not care about whether we see the games, whether South Africans are happy, it's the SABC, you know. There's the national broadcast that does little to show the games, and that's a problem for us South Africans.
Okay. I hear my brother. Let me go to oh, hey, wait, my order's off here. Let me go to KG. KG, tell me, do these people take us seriously? Any of them? As serious as they should take us?
I think both SuperSport and SABC, they don't take us serious. Because when it comes to national team, because even when you check SuperSport, when it comes to cricket and rugby, they're always on point. But when it comes to Bafana, they will tell us about rise there. But when it comes to other sports codes, they will be there. Whether it's televised 1 o'clock or they will make sure that they have those rights. I don't remember rugby, our national rugby team playing, but it's not televised at SuperSport. Whether it's a French or what, they always on point. So I think even SuperSport, they're not taking it as serious because, like I said, those games, most of the time, you know, a year before that, Bafana Fan will be playing friendly or qualifiers this time. You should be doing those arrangements back then and secure those rights from that time. So, and with CAF, I think maybe sometimes with CAF, they will ask, oh, you are from South Africa. Maybe they adjust also with the pricing. Maybe we don't know about that one. I can't comment that much about the CAF. But the other thing I want to talk about is SABC. Because when you, let's say SABC is televising the derby, so it's a derby.
Yeah.
Any product that they will be advertising that time, I think those companies are paying more during that because they know a lot of people will be watching the game that time, and most people will be glued on TV. They don't go away. Whether it's halftime or what, they'll be glued on TV. So whenever there's a company advertising during that time, I think they're getting a lot of money. So with them to say they don't have generate enough money, that one is not the issue. It's just for me financially they're not managing it very well, and the other thing is just with their production they're not up to date. They need to up their game maybe.
Okay, KG. Yeah, no, guys, please tap the screen. Let's try get to 25,000. Short man, just 5,000 more likes. Yeah, let me before I give my comment, let me go into Usinje. Sinje, do they take us seriously? any of the parties because, the type of content and things that we get when it's rugby time on SuperSport, man. And it makes you look at the PSL stuff and go, yo, I don't see what's happening here. And then SABC, we've long complained already, they don't utilize all of their avenues, in order to get word out about Bafana Bafana and all of that stuff. Do you think that any of them are taking us as seriously as they should be taking us?
Let's not compare rugby, guys. To watch rugby, you must pay 1,000 rand a month.
Yeah.
If you want to watch rugby, you must pay 1,000. To watch soccer, you pay SAFA. That's how much it costs you to pay to be able to watch all these games. And the question is that is that sufficient? Is the money that we are paying to have access and demand? Is it worth it? Is it value for money? That's the first thing I think we should be asking ourselves. If we say no, then are we getting value for money? Is 400 rand worth what I'm seeing? Because that also must come into our mind that if we want top service, you must pay for top service. We can't expect service and yet we're not giving top dollar for it. Now, and secondly, with Bafana as well, the national interest is not the same. Like Bafana are no longer rock stars. They're no longer rock stars. They don't generate interest. When did you last see a girl posting a Bafana player on Crash Tuesday? They are crashing on Banyana while we have a Bafana team. That shows how useless Bafana is.
But then, Sinjay, could you argue that it's in the SABC's interest to make Bafana at least seem as superstars, because that's the type of attention and things that brings about advertisers. Same with SuperSport. If you give the type of attention to, let's say, the PSL that BT Sports gives to England, English football, doesn't that bode more better for those teams, because you are attracting more advertisers, you're doing more. But if you're just showing us the game and then it's done.
Bafana left. Bafana left the country. They left the country. Did you see any people bidding them farewell at the airport?
Where must I see it? I can't even see it on the news. Where do they speak about Bafana? How should I care about Bafana?
That's because that shows how useless it is. It's like go to Zimbabwe. It's like
ay Mara.
Jokes aside, banter aside. Listen, banter aside.
Yeah.
I think I agree with a comment that was written that we need new minds.
Okay.
We need people that are going to have I think what SABC has lost is you see when SABC had a vision in terms of the South African sport, that's when things were ticking. When they were ministers of sport that loved sport, about Nonde Balfour and so on and so forth, they wanted, they were passionate about sport. That's why they wanted things to be done. That's why they were rallies. That's why Obama Kai Antony became superstars. And about Chester Williams became superstars, about Dr. Kumalo and so on. It's because these were people that were genuine. None of them. My daughter, which sport did you play? Which sport did you play? Give me a sport that you played, even in high school. Have you seen a picture of him playing a particular sport in the school that he attended. No, nowhere to be found. That is the issue. You see, rugby is run by people that are passionate about it outside their lives. That's why when they are in those offices, they push it because these are people that are passionate about it. Tell me, which sport did Johnny
that one?
Which club did he play for? Which club did he play for? Now imagine if Safa was run by, I'll make an example, by Lucas Radebe. Imagine if Lucas Radebe was at the helm of South African soccer. What would we see? What will he push? What will he make sure that is in place? That's what they're good for. That's what they're good for. They're good for looting. They're always looking for something that is going to benefit them, not the actual sport. And we are victim. The repercussions of that is that we've got a leadership that that is seriously not interested in ensuring that we are displaying, not just in South Africa, but the rest of Africa and the rest of the world, the caliber of our sports in this country. Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
But unfortunately, that's what we are facing. That's why we've got a national team that is going to be earning a lot of money for just being useless. That's being useless.
Okay.
Like back in the day, man. Back in the day, and Bafana mall, and they will shut the mall down. Can you Umvala, which shop going to a shop and
okay, no, I hear Sinja. I'm just gonna have to jump in there just for time's sake. Look, guys, I think what I'm trying to get across from my end is that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I feel like it's not being done by the parties involved. I feel as though, how am I meant to fully support a Bafana that I don't even know when they're going to play? I don't even know. I don't know when the games are. You know, when I come onto here and we're having watch-alongs, sometimes people will ask me how Bafana is playing. Or we'll have a review day the following day after a match, and people will say, hi, man, when did Bafana play? And I always juxtapose it to, and put it next to, when you watch EPL, guys, there's a reason why you see every single goal in EPL. Almost every time. They saturate the market with it, right? So that you're constantly thinking about it. But you can't even, Banyana won WAFCON. I always use that example. Banyana won WAFCON. How many times have you seen Banyana with the trophy doing this? Just as a highlight, just as a replay, right? There's so much work that needs to be done. And on SuperSports side, again, you look at 203, guys, 203 has content the whole day. Gary Neville is sitting down with Thierry Henry. Righty and Mang, they've got a podcast. They reach into social media and fetch social media people, the YouTube stars. They've got shows on the thing. They show you highlights. They show you this. They don't let you not know how to deal with these. How you never have a moment where you don't know how to feel about things. And I feel like that's what's missing a lot of it for me, right? The PSL. Why should I like the PSL? When last did you see Peter Shalile or Kanyisa Mayo top goal scorer? How many of the goals have you seen on repeat? You get what I mean? The old PSL games. How do you cultivate that love and things like that? And I feel as though CAF, SuperSport, SABC are missing that factor where they do those type of things. And those type of things are profitable. Those type of things are profitable. Think about how much the rights for EPL cost, because they know that those guys have to put in the work to make sure that Utepo in South Africa must feel the love for Arsenal as if I stay in London. But then here, SuperSport here doesn't do the job to make sure that I feel the love for Kaizer Chiefs, or I feel the love for Mamelodi Sundowns, or I feel the love for my teams, or whatever, right? So how do I connect with that? That's what I'm trying to say here. Again, if I don't even know when Bafana is playing, how am I meant to know how to feel about Bafana? And to give you an example, yes, the Springboks won. That's very important that they were winning. But most of us had never watched a rugby match. We couldn't watch it. It's on 201. You've never watched a rugby match. But they put in the time, and sometimes it's not even just visual and all those things. They put in the time to go, yeah, then I'm going to check out Springboks. Friday, Springboks. When you turn on the TV, you're seeing the try. You're seeing Chikimang Cheslin Colby knock down a penalty, a conversion. I watch those highlights. I see them often, a lot. And I'm like, those are the little things that bring back love and make people want to spend and make people want to watch and make people want to go to stadiums and make people want to go to malls and all of those things. But we don't do any of that stuff for any of our sports. Malama Kutso, I just want to very quickly, very quickly, last comment from you and everybody else. Is it good that maybe we're starting to see competition? So if SABC is well and truly is really able to show 54 games of Afcon, does that bode well for South African media in that at some point maybe SABC won't be having the issue of bandwidth? Maybe will SABC Plus get expanded? Is it good to see that type of competition start to come up for your super sport?
Well, so I don't even think SABC has put up competition for SuperSport. I think the competition is coming from outside. The holders of the rights are the actual competition. And from that, we can only hope that SuperSport will also offer some great deals. I think the whole LA Nahanang is called Harambe, where they just talk Afcon from the morning, how Klapa is funny, you watch. So in that regard, we might get an even better package from SuperSport. But sadly, we might get a more expensive brand. When it comes to the SABC, sometimes they don't even put up a fight. They're like, adios. I mean, our phone. Yeah, understand. They just don't want to keep up in you. You understand? So it might be the last we even see Afcon on on the SABC, unless if leadership comes in and changes everything. But I'm happy that SuperSport got those rights, and as much as I'm pro the people and pro SABC getting a lower amount, I know I wanna watch Algeria versus Burkina Faso. I wanna watch Burkina Faso Zambia, which I was never gonna get that, or if I was gonna get it, I was gonna get it at 2 a.m. Already we were 2-0 and they scored the first 2 goals the first 12 minutes, and then the rest of the game I know nothing's gonna happen. So I'm definitely happy that SuperSport also got Ibiskiti lap.
Okay, Kumo, if it's to be believed that SABC could show all 54 matches, does it bode well for us in the future that maybe they'll be able to at least challenge SuperSport on the bandwidth of games? Is that a good thing for us as a South African public?
I guess it's going to be a good thing for us. You know what? Actually, I would love for the SABC to try and challenge the SuperSport. But it's not easy to bring all those matches live at the same time. Right now, SuperSport has no competition. Even this new World TV, I know competition. It's only competing on the rights. But realistically, they can't broadcast everywhere because they're not rich.
Yeah.
The infrastructure and the amount of time, money, investment, manpower that SuperSport made across Africa is unmatched. In fact, I can also say it's up there, little BT Sports or little BE, little Sky Sports. That's how serious SuperSport is. And you guys, you kept on saying SABC is gonna reach multiple people away. Can no one give me one effect? one online game
Ah,
one at a
kere, ke
time.
bona by saying they can show them. So I want to take them at their word. Kere, if it was possible for them to do it, would it be good for the country that we're not saying SABC just for the sake of SABC? We're saying SABC can maybe show all PSL games, for example, next time they go bid.
Yeah, I guess it will be good for the country that everyone will have access to it. One. But my other thing happened. I'm gonna go back to SABC point right. SABC, if I got talking about now, I get not thinking the future.
Yeah.
So it was never gonna show 54 matches. It literally can't. And even if it could, how many of us have that whole level game? So I want most of the people that you guys think are gonna get access to to the Afcon can't even afford 500 gig, okay, 500 megabyte. Yeah, game. I want. So it wasn't gonna work out. So now I should have thought for it, maybe SABC was supposed to humble themselves and say, my bra, you know you're a big brother, Kopalompe, the right, all them. I don't care. Umpe di rights, ta Bafana Bafana, umpe di rights tsa final. Wa bona? E o ka ikhopela, wa bona? Because honestly, brother, SABC was backing up the wrong tree. It doesn't have the capacity, and it won't have the capacity for a very long time. By the time they try to reach Super Sport level, Super Sport ke show tlebe e bontsha di game ka di project mahala. That's how advanced they're gonna be.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Cool. I hear you. KG, if SABC could do this 54 games as they said, as they announced they would be able to, does that mean that we'd maybe have some proper competition for a super sport? Is that a good thing for us?
For Afcon or for PSL?
For Afcon, Akira Baitse, when they announced that they had the rights, they said that they were going to show all 54 matches live, if I'm not mistaken. So if they have the capacity to is it a good thing going forward when we think about PSL and things like that, or maybe Super Sport Bali competition?
SABC, they didn't have those rights. They were just lying to us. So I don't think it's just them. They must just sit down and prioritize. Like, even for me, when they say they bought those few games of EPL, why did they buy them if they can't show us PSL games? So they should just prioritize and say, we're gonna prioritize these ones and these ones from now on. But the other thing, I heard someone when they about rugby, they say you paying 1,000, and some other people we paying that 1,000 to watch all the sports. And if, like you said, when it comes to rugby, Super Sport is advertised from the morning to like 24 hours. But when it comes to Bafana, even now with Afcon, it doesn't even show us the previous Afcon finals and what to advertise it. It's just to see that even their priority is not us as soccer lovers. Their priority is those big guys with big money out there. So I think if SABC can see this and say, soccer is our chance, let's try to capitalize, because even Super Sport is not taking it that much seriously like other sports. So let's take soccer and make it serious, especially the local one, and including Bafana games. They must make sure that from this year, they must decide that all those Bafana games, the friendlies, the World Cup qualifiers, they have them. I think a lot of people will watch Super Sport. They will watch SABC from that one. They must just prioritize.
No. I hear you, KG. Stinje, final point very quickly. Do you feel that if SABC says that they can show 54 matches, can they now, when we're going to bidding forward, does Supersport have proper competition? Can it be proper competition?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, and I wouldn't want SABC to become that as well, because you must understand. I don't think looking at the ratings of people who watch even sport on SABC Sport Live or SABC Online could make SABC. Um, uh, I think SABC. I think for me, first of all, I think they need to restructure their infrastructure in terms of the manner in which they broadcast. I think how many people have smart decoders that SABC has been trying to get people free to change over from areas. There's still a large number of people that are doing that as well. So I think SABC should, here's my view, right? Before they could do that, change the infrastructure, make sure that you've got a decoder that is free and accessible for everyone. Then from there, you can have your Super Sport channel, your SABC Sport channel, SABC Sport 1, 2, 3, and 4, up to 5. Then you've got the infrastructure to broadcast the games. You don't need people to have data to see it. Then you speak to Multichoice, and Multichoice must as Multichoice does now, that they show SABC channels. They must pay you to do. They must pay SABC to broadcast those channels on your DSTV, and it must be free. When you have not paid your DSTV, SABC must be playing in your DSTV, in your Multichoice decoder. Have those structures in place, then you can bid. Then you can ask for the bid for the PSL rights and so on and so forth, because you have a place to show the game. What's the point of buying the rights when you don't have a place to show the games? You are not going to interrupt generations to watch Bafana Bafana because. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I think that's the first place SABC needs to do. Fix your broadcasting channels. Fix your broadcasting methodologies. Get people that are abo overthinking football to come and have a channel. Call them over.
Danko.
That's what we need. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. Joking.
I'm being playful.
I thought about it sometime to say, when you check with SIBC, they keep on repeating even a show that was playing in 1999. Why don't you bring these young ones to say, okay, we'll give you a slot, let's say 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, come and discuss sport, come and discuss soccer, discuss previous games and the future games for that week. Because that's what, when it comes to EPL, that's what is going on. They discuss the previous games, they discuss the future games thoroughly. And if you bring the young ones, like you are on TikTok, you're on Facebook, you'll be advertising. I'll be on SABC from 10 a.m. People will come and try to watch it, and you will have the analysis that they come, some they can call. So that's part of advertising. And you not only, whenever you attract certain viewers, you're not attracting only for your own show. It's also for that channel. Remember, it's for SABC. Some of the people will also that energy back. But right now, it's been run by old people. Looks old. The shows are old. Even that Andile guy, he's new, but he's old.
You guys.
They need to bring something, the energy back to SABC, especially when it comes to soccer and sports. Most people, like I remember back in the day when you used to watch Spectacular. In the morning when you wake up from 8 o'clock, you can see on TV, it's already advertising. You remember the Vodacom challenge? That advertising, that song, yes, that advertising from SABC. You watch SABC until the game start playing. But from now on, they don't have it. I think they're just holding there and there. And I thought even that one of buying those games of EPL, they were just taking chances, and it's not working. They're playing Brighton there. Most people who are watching SABC, they don't even care about Brighton. Brighton and Wolves. Come on. They must get their priority right.
Now what I like about what you said is that SAPC Super Sport is corner. But anyway, thank you, KG, for joining me. Thank you to the panels that joined me. Guys, those who are shy, please come in. I'm very thankful to you guys because we got to 30,000 likes. I wanted 25, but we got to 30,000 likes. So thank you so much for tapping that screen. Thank you to Tolani. Thank you to PD Jokes for the gifts. Look, guys, this is my thing. And I want to just quickly, 1 minute, very quickly. I think my thing is that I feel as though there is a disconnect between Bo Supersport, Bo SAPC, Bo CAF in trying to get the type of popularity that we can probably build in Africa. And I think it comes down to all these things. But I want to be hopeful and say that the nice thing about this situation is if SABC was to get the streaming thing right and be able to show more matches, for example, I think it would be very good because Supersport desperately needs competition in order to go to the next level, the next of the next, similar to what BT Sports. And SABC needs that kick to say, you know what, guys, let's figure out how to bring more channels in. Let's figure out how to bring more entertainment in. Let's figure out how to get all of these sports onto our channels and stuff like that so that we can go forward and actually compete. And I think that competition is going to be what lays the foundation for us getting better as a nation. I feel like Supersport is complacent currently, and I feel like SABC, but they just went, hey guys, how do you expect us to fight the Supersport? Instead of finding innovative ways to do different things to compete with each other outside of these rights races and all of that stuff. As Lukeji was saying now, Guti, there's so many things you could do that you could literally just steal from about PT Sports, about Sky Sports. You can steal. They do things like that, and really bring back the love for the game. I'm very excited for Afcon. I want to see how this plays out, and I want to see how this rights issue pushes both of the advertisers, pushes both of them to go, how do I get better to, as an SABC, to look like I am a competitor or to be an actual competitor for a Supersport when games are playing at the same time, and for Supersport to go, okay, there might be competition that side, we need to up our game. That's all I want from this in my eyes. And we'll see who my future employer could be. Who knows? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. It's that time.
It's 10 o'clock. Let's go sleep.
It's 10 o'clock, man. Let's go sleep. Thank you to the panel. Thank you for the people who joined me. Remember, Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. If you have not followed, please follow right now. And also follow the Instagram page. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel where I post other things. Guys, I am no longer on Facebook. They kicked me off. So Facebook is gone. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram is where we're going to be focusing going forward. So if you have not followed, follow, man. Go and subscribe and follow and do all those very nice things. The links are in my TikTok profile. And also, I believe they're in my profile on Instagram and YouTube. I believe there's some links there that you can follow to come to the Overthinking Football side. Your thoughts, please, on tomorrow's game. Tomorrow, because today we played in Lesotho. Is this now Ibafana Bafana? I have thoughts that I want to speak about, and we're going to have tomorrow. We'll speak about Ibafana Bafana and how everything has happened, their bonuses, the last game, and all of that stuff. That's going to be the topic for tomorrow. But okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you then tomorrow, 8 p.m. Join me here, and I release some videos, short form. So go and like, go and share, go and support. Thanks, guys.